This weekend, get ready for a night of great championship fights. UFC 259, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya, moves up to face dangerous puncher, Polish power, Jan Blachowicz at light heavyweight. Also on the card, the destructive Amanda Nunes versus Australia's Megan Anderson. Use the Boxingego link in the description to order UFC 259 ESPN Plus pay-per-view. And for $20 more, you'll get ESPN Plus, a 1-year subscription. UFC 259, Blachowicz versus Adesanya, should be a great night of fights on a very stacked card. Saturday, March 6th. You don't want to miss this. I'll see you at the fights.
Looks like Devin Haney and Jorge Linares are reportedly in advanced talks to potentially fight April, May, somewhere in there in the spring, and I want to talk about it on this side, the real side. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, before I get started, UFC 259 gang, Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, moving up in weight, facing a very dangerous opponent at light heavyweight, powerful puncher. I'm looking forward to that fight. Also, the always game, always destructive powerhouse Amanda Nunes on the card, and Peter Yan, who's fun to watch as well. Very stacked card. UFC 259, Dana White, UFC, they got one. If you're interested in ordering that ESPN Plus pay-per-view, please use my link. It does help the channel when you guys continue to click on that link and watch the fight and order the fight through that, so I can continue to build. Now, let's talk about it. Devin Haney, Jorge Linares. It's being reported that the 22-year-old may fight Jorge Linares in his next fight, right? So it'll be a 135-pound fight. Devin Haney has a WBC belt, and that's basically the news. I'm gonna just share some brief thoughts on it. I love it. This is Devin Haney's 22. He's called out all the big names. So if he can't get some of those bigger names, then what is he supposed to do? He got to fight other names and former champions and stuff like that, like Jorge Linares. Linares has a great skill set. The trouble with Linares is under pressure, under duress, when there's big punchers and guys who provide an uncomfortable pacing, you've seen him break down and get stopped. Some people question Devin Haney, how much power does he have at this point in his career, things like that. So it should be a good fight because it'll be a chess match, and we'll see if Devin Haney can, rough up Jorge Linares and break him down like we've seen with other fights, like Antonio DeMarco is the one that comes to mind. But Linares has also been in there with Luke Campbell. So this is a great fight for Devin, age 22. He's a champion. He has to stay busy. It's a pandemic, so people got to be realistic with the matches. And at the end of the day, it's a progression in the right direction. The other thing is this: for me, I keep it very fair and keep it very consistent on my channel. Devin Haney has called for the even greater, more in prime fights, and not only has he called for them, he's put everything up. Like, for example, Devin Haney is pulling up to Ryan Garcia's fights as a spectator, interested spectator and scout. So why would I be mad at Devin Haney when I know he was trying to fight Ryan Garcia? It's actually, boxing is a bit backwards. Ryan Garcia is telling Devin Haney he must do more, but Devin Haney is the champion and Ryan Garcia is the mandatory. Since when do you see a mandatory challenger telling the champion, yo, you're not ready, or build your brand up, and all these other excuses to not fight? Great example of a mandatory who worked his way up the rankings, who was eager to prove himself, Errol Spence. Errol Spence was at welterweight, and he was destroying dudes and crushing dudes, considered the boogeyman. He had called for just big fights like Kell Brook and Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. At those times when he was first calling people out, it didn't seem like people were giving him looks. They were saying the same thing that they're saying, and this is what happens when you know you're a real threat. They were telling Errol Spence, go do this, go get a belt, fight a champion, build your resume up, and then come holler at me, just like trying to little boy him and big dog him. And that's what you're seeing. And unfortunately, it's with a champion. Ryan Garcia saying belts don't matter, but then his big bro, Canelo, is saying he has to fight pathetic fights like Average Pilgrim because the WBC told me I have to fight him. But Canelo was just beefing with the WBC a few years ago, and he says he's not going to be bound by their rules and artificial deadlines, nor would he accept their belt because he was mad at them for how the Golovkin situation put pressure on him and played out. So Canelo would not even accept the WBC's belt in the fights like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. In that fight, they had a Huicho belt or a commemorative belt. Canelo refused to accept that belt. But now you got Ryan Garcia, who's young, who hasn't done what Canelo's done, and he's saying belts don't matter. So it's like boxing got to get it right. Which one is it? Do belts matter or do they not matter? You know, because two people in the same gym are saying different things and they're at different points of their career. Young Ryan Garcia is saying belts don't matter. I'm a star. I can fight who I want, and I'm trying to fight Tank and Pacquiao. And then you have somebody who's accomplished more than Ryan Garcia, big bro Canelo, saying I have to fight Average Pilgrim because the WBC mandated I do so or I'll lose my belt, and I'm going after Undisputed. So it's funny how that works. Devin Haney, again, is a fighter who has called for the big fight. Ryan Garcia, the challenger, the mandatory, should be wanting to fight Devin Haney. But Devin Haney is the one pulling up to his fights and showing up and letting it be known. Ryan Garcia just did an interview with the Canelo Pilgrim fight, and he says, I'm not really checking for the Devin Haney fight. I want to fight Tank. I'm not looking for the Devin Haney. He needs to fight someone in the top 10. So if people are going to do this, how? And Teofimo said basically the same thing, and Bob Arum. So my question to you, before the people hate on another black fighter like Devin Haney and say, why is he going to fight Jorge Linares? All these other guys in the division, all these other networks and promoters like Bob Arum are telling him you have to fight known people, right? In order to impress me and get some quote unquote names on your resume. So which one is it? A lot of times in this boxing game, people want to have their cake and eat it too. They say, even though he's a champion, Teofimo's calling him an email champion, saying, hey, fight someone in the top 10 to fight me. Ryan Garcia, Bob Arum, just as I mentioned, saying the same thing. So how can people complain if Devin Haney is fighting Jorge Linares? He's a top 10 name. This is what they're saying they want. And the bigger names who Devin is pressing, they're saying, you're not ready. Build up, build up, build up. So I love the fight, and I'm going to support the fight. It's a good fight. You have to keep in mind, too, Ryan Garcia was a name linked with Jorge Linares, and no one had a problem. No one had a problem with Ryan Garcia fighting him, even though he lost to Lomachenko, you know, so did Luke Campbell. And that's the name that Lomachenko beat Luke Campbell as well. And that's the name that everyone's giving Ryan Garcia a bunch of credit for beating Luke Campbell. So what's the difference? Linares lost to Lomachenko and he has some losses, but so does Luke Campbell. So boxing with the double standards, crazy. I'm going to support this fight 100%. I think for a 22-year-old Haney, it's a step in the right direction. It's not official. It's not confirmed. Let's see how it goes. I will keep you guys updated. But if Devin, again, can't get Gervonta or fights with Ryan Garcia or Teofimo or whatever, this is a great fight. This I like Jorge Linares or Javier Fortuna for Devin Haney, you know. But the other thing is going to be interesting, since we now know the Pacquiao fight is off the table for Ryan Garcia next. Tank Davis is reported to fight Mario Barrios at 140. Who is Ryan Garcia going to fight with Golden Boy? Because if Linares is a Golden Boy fighter and he's booked up, if he does fight Devin, then Tank is occupied, right? And then you have Teofimo, who's fighting George Kambosos. So how is Golden Boy going to follow up Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell if all these guys look like they're filling in and booking up? So it'll be interesting to see who Ryan Garcia picks. The rumor was that he could fight Javier Fortuna. Somebody got to fight Javier Fortuna because he's a beast. He got a cut on his face. The man does not care. He's just down to scrap. And he's calling out all these guys as well. So if Devin is going to fight Linares, I think Ryan Garcia Fortuna would be a great fight. And this is, you know, a step in the right direction for all these young cats. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Also get TUBEBUDDY using my link. TUBEBUDDY, there's a Linktree link that has all my links. These are great ways to support the channel. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension to level up your content. It takes money to make money if you are serious. This is only for people who are serious. If you're serious about building your YouTube channel, That's a great way to dig in, and there's a ton of resources that aren't baked into YouTube. I use it daily. I scaled my channel up over 200,000. I promise we working. UFC 259, order that pay-per-view using that same link, and it's lit. Devin Haney, Jorge Linares, we'll see how it goes. Maybe April, maybe May. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.